Cardano is about to trigger. That is going to be the topic of today's video, and trigger what you may be asking. Well, we are going to be looking at that in this video. We believe that Cardano right now is setting up a technical pattern that we've had huge success with that may see it run all the way to that $2 mark. Now, this video is going to be somewhat of a follow-on from the price prediction that we gave for 2024, our price prediction we gave for 2024 Cardano, that a lot of people were actually kind of displeased about. And the price prediction, or the price that we saw Cardano going to in 2024, was $2. And we got this price prediction due to this technical pattern that is progressing and about to be triggered. And that's how we came up with the $2 price prediction for Cardano, off of a technical pattern. We have technical evidence coupled with a broader macro context and broader understanding of the trend that the cryptocurrency space is in that give us that price prediction. Now, that doesn't mean that that is the ultimate price that Cardano is going to, just where we potentially see it going to in 2024. And we're going to be looking at how things are progressing. We also showed you guys and have been giving a number of price predictions for a number of altcoins that all have a similar pattern. Remember, we were predicting a 42K Bitcoin in 2023, and that was based on the exact pattern that Cardano is in today. So we do think that it's going to play out. I do apologize if people are upset at the $2 price prediction and it not being quite where they wanted it to go, but we're trying to be as realistic and basing our prices off technical indicators that give us these targets. We're not just making these targets up like many other people are. I saw lots of comments saying, oh, well, I think it's going to $34, which is $1 trillion market cap. Is that possible? Yes, it absolutely potentially is, depending on what happens with Cardano and its success. But that's not what we're seeing right now. And that is kind of a throw a dart on a dartboard and pick a number kind of thing. You know, you have to have, in my opinion, reasons to expect price to do something, and we are a technical analyzer of the markets, a 360 technical analyzer of the markets who's had huge success doing that. And ultimately, we think Cardano is potentially about to embark on a similar journey to many of the other charts that we've seen that have set up in a similar fashion. So let's dive into it all, guys. Let's start off by recapping on the video that we did. I believe this video was about 4 weeks old. We were looking at what was potentially setting up for Cardano. We showed you plenty of examples of charts just like this that had previously played out in a similar fashion. And let's now dive over to the ADA chart. So you can see this is essentially what we are looking at. And we are one of the only people to identify in the previous bear into a bull market a similar pattern to what Cardano is setting up today pretty perfectly, that ultimately projected round about where Cardano topped out. Now, it's not perfect, but this would have been an early warning. Typically, when you run a key pattern, when you run a target, you do rest. And of course, this rest was around the time of the Alonso hard fork. And ultimately, Cardano really entered its bear market then. It was a lot sooner going into the downtrend than many of the other cryptos. But you can see this is, and we'll drop down the 3-day time frame, a pattern that has played out previously and a pattern that we've had huge success with. And we'll show you some examples of that. You know, you can see the head and shoulders that we're looking at here. And this is essentially where you are today, ladies and gentlemen. I do expect a similar performance, and you can see that Cardano is now closing or starting to close that right shoulder. So it's very important that we don't run the left shoulder. You want to see typically a smaller right shoulder than your left. We will show you this upside down, so maybe lots of people are only used to looking at head and shoulders the right way up. But you can see this is your neckline, these are your two armpits. And ultimately we're waiting for a break of this, hopefully on momentum, and then a move all the way to $2. Now, that doesn't mean that Cardano is going to stop at $2. It's just what we're predicting based on a technical pattern that we've had huge success for. Those of you that follow me regularly will know we were some of the few people to be predicting Bitcoin on a very, very similar pattern. If we drop down to the 3-day, it's a lot more applicable. This was key. You also had stage analysis in here, this was the stage 1 we were looking at. Stage 2 is an uptrend, break on momentum, couple of retests, and then you actually made your target. And today we're setting up potentially a broader head and shoulders. And we've shown you lots of examples of this. Sorry about all the scribbles on the chart, but this is essentially what we're looking at for Cardano. So our price prediction was given based on technical merit, not based on where we think it could go. You know, where we think it could go, I mean, it's really anybody's guess. Could it get to $34? Maybe. Could it get to 10? Maybe. Could it get to 9? Maybe. Until we see that, we're not predicting it. And actually, on the way up to this $2 mark, you may do something like run into this key level over here, which could act in the same manner as what Bitcoin's doing here. And then that would ultimately, you know, if you do something like this, You have a small shoulder here. That could give you potentially a broader prediction, but we're not at that stage yet, and we're not in a position. I mean, you could scenario forecast a $7 Cardano price. Could it happen? Yes, certainly if the likes of BlackRock and all the other institutions decide, and Gary Gensler brings clarity out on whether these cryptos are securities or not. I believe they're not, and I think we're going to get clarity that aligns with that. You know, actually, Yellen was in front of Congress yesterday talking about how she's now urging Congress to legislate to get regulatory clarity on the crypto space. You know, you are going to see altcoin exchange-traded products, exchange-traded funds. You already see them in many parts of the world. And actually, Cardano, if you look at like 21 shares and you look at what Grayscale offer, is a big part of that. You know, it's one of the largest altcoins that they essentially offer. So, you know, maybe there's that kind of a driver. I do think altcoins are going to have their day in the sun. Obviously, Link was another one that we were looking at a similar pattern for. And you can see just how well this has played out. We were looking at this down here, potentially playing out. It's now actually broken on slightly inflated volume, but nothing too monumental. You know, this is now, in my opinion, Link's on its way to $64. Cardano a little bit behind, but we do think it gets there. So our price prediction for Cardano potentially this year is $2. When we see reason to expect it to go higher, when we have kind of technical proof, and that technical proof is all occurring with a broader context of the market in regards to where it's going. You know, if we think Bitcoin's going to collapse tomorrow, this pattern's not as likely to play out. You have to compound reasons, technically, macroeconomic. You have to take a 360 view of everything. And of course, going back to Bitcoin, if we think this is now going to be a broader head and shoulders, that's likely going to align with 150K Bitcoin. What's Cardano and altcoins going to do in that situation? Well, they're going to do very well. And if we now go over to Bitcoin dominance, this is something that actually gives us broader confluence that there's a higher degree of likelihood that Cardano is going to play out in the manner that it is. If we're going to be in a bear market, Cardano is not very likely to go on and go into that target. You know, it'd be a complete anomaly. However, Bitcoin dominance, the correlation between Bitcoin dominance and a bull and bear market is it goes down in a bull market, it goes up in a bear market, it goes down, usually not initially, in a bull market, and it goes up in a bear market. And I believe today we are at a stage where Bitcoin dominance, we are looking at rolling. We think you have invalidated this very steep uptrend. You've now broken that trend line, and we think that this is going to roll. Now, this is actually bullish for Bitcoin, believe it or not, because it kind of confirms that if we're still in a negative market, Bitcoin dominance is going to gain strength. If it rolls like we're expecting, and we'll show you another chart that perhaps isn't that applicable to Cardano because it tracks everything outside the top 10 altcoins in regards to dominance, but we'll bring that in just a second. If this rolls, that means Bitcoin's going to be doing well and altcoins are going to be doing even better. So we've got key technical reasons, macroeconomic reasons, and everything in between to expect Bitcoin to do well. Cross-market reasons, FX market reasons, and Bitcoin dominance rolling is going to see altcoins do even better, which is bullish for the entire environment. It gives us kind of confluence that the pattern that we're looking at for Cardano, which is this inverse head and shoulders that we're initially predicting $2, and we'll see if we can then eventually, you know, set something up that could see us give a $7 price prediction for the ultimate high of this cycle. You know, we're looking at things that are giving us a degree of confidence this is likely to play out. Something that supports Bitcoin dominance rolling, which we don't hear many people talking about, is the others market cap dominance. This is the dominance of altcoins outside the top 10. Now, I know Cardano is a top 10, but this is kind of in line with Bitcoin dominance, which is going to be bullish rolling, which is going to be bullish for the overall space, which of course Cardano is going to be a big part of in regards to doing well. So this is a chart that we've been tracking. It's a chart we've had a lot of success for. Anybody who's a patron will be well up to date on this. You can see you have the smaller head and shoulders. The target for this was perfectly met and actually has set up now a bigger head and shoulders, just like Cardano could do if it wants to go to $7. And ultimately, we're now at that stage where we've broken out on inflated volume. We came back and we had even higher volume on the second chance. Now we're sort of consolidating here and we think we've got broader upside to come. And also, we could even give confluence to the fact that we think the crypto market's going to do well based on things like Coinbase. And you can see how this is reacting in a similar manner. Again, head and shoulders. We had a smaller head and shoulders for this. You know, Coinbase, we think, is going to $437. What's crypto going to be doing in that environment? Likely going up. You've got lots of other things. You've got like Marathon Holdings, MicroStrategy, which was a very successful one for us so far. They had really bad earnings yesterday. You can see, sorry, this is Microsoft was another head and shoulders that our target got met on. And again, This is like us predicting $2 for Cardano. It's then gone on and gone higher. So it could go higher. I'm just not giving that as a prediction at this point because I don't have any technical reason to do so. And I want to be as upfront and honest with each and every one of you when we're predicting prices as I possibly can. There's no point in me gaining popularity through making things up that aren't there or signaled on the charts, like I think many people do to kind of get the viewers. You know, if someone's giving you a price prediction, why? What's the reasoning? Have they got any evidence to suggest that they've been right on previous price predictions? So on and so forth for some of the questions you should be asking. I was going to try MicroStrategy, not Microsoft. So this is MicroStrategy. Again, head and shoulders, you can see exactly the same manner that we're talking about. This will likely make its target. I think I was drawing on this earlier today. So that is really all I've got for you guys. It was just an update on our Cardano price prediction. Now, we've said $2 in 2024. That doesn't mean that that's the absolute high. That's just where we currently are, we can predict. And ultimately, I think that is a very conservative, perhaps, prediction, but one that at this point I'm confident on. And once Cardano actually goes and takes that 68 cents range, on hopefully volume, that's then triggered this inverse head and shoulders pattern, and the move to $2 potentially is on the cards. That's really all I've got for you in this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you want lots more Cardano content, let me know in the comment section. We've not been covering it as regularly just because there's so much going on in crypto. There's lots of things to cover, but of course, if you guys demand it, we will accommodate that. So that's all I've got for you guys. Thanks a lot for watching. As always, a like and a comment is always appreciated. Don't forget to become a subscriber if you're not already to see how these price predictions play out. We'll keep you up to date with them. And on that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you all in the next one.